right.
Hey everyone, welcome again. We are live again. I'm here with Matt Camp. We are here for our fourth and final live call. And it's a 3-week challenge. So this is kind of the fourth week, the bonus week, where we wrap everything up. And also I'm going to stick around and be happy to answer some more questions at the end. But I'm going to turn it over, as I have every week, to Matt and let you kick it off and get us started tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Chad. And really we were just talking about this, the last couple of weeks, I've really enjoyed doing this with you. And I mean, your whole community, like you guys are truly go-getters. It's really cool to put out stuff where we're been assigning challenging things to tackle each week and to see how many people have come through. Again, we're going to have a grand prize giveaway at the very end here for the people who, responded to my emails, who've been taking action, who've been getting out there and trying to go find that first deal. So I know we're live on. Oh, go ahead, Chad.
I was going to say the same thing. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. So everybody's jumping in here, as we have always done. We'd love to hear from you. Know who's here on the call. So just leave us a comment and say your name, where you're from. We're going to get into some scheduled parts of the presentation here in a minute. But the main thing for me, and the reason that I've had a good time too, Matt, this has been a lot of fun, and just hearing the actual steps that people are taking to actually do this. Like, I've been doing it for 21 years now, and I love I'm a real estate nerd. I love doing this, but to me, the thing I get a kick out of now is seeing you all make progress. You all buy a deal, and it makes me more excited than anything. So I would love tonight to keep encouraging you and find out where you are, and we're gonna also give away some prizes. So this is gonna be fun.
Absolutely. So I already see people jumping in the chat. Awesome. Please jump in, say hello, say where you're based out of. For the grand prize giveaway, again, at the very end, you'll have to be on live to claim that too. So hopefully we've got people jumping in who submitted that as well. Again, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, if you see that Deal Machine or coachcarson.com/challenge, that link at the bottom there, you'll be able to view this replay there. And you'll be able, today we're going to go through, just give you kind of quick rundown on today. Today we're going to go through and recap everything we've done. Celebrate everything we've done, celebrate you guys for taking action, for getting out there and, sticking with this for 3 weeks now. So rewatch this, we'll be able to get the other replays as well if you go to that link, and you can do this challenge at your own pace. So awesome. Love to see that. If you want to jump in the chat again, say where you're based out of, Kristen, Katie, or Kate, Parker, Brian. Awesome. Thanks for jumping that too. But if you can go in there, say where you're watching from. We know we've been trying to help you all team up together to kind of hold each other accountable. That makes this whole thing more fun and more attainable, more achievable too, when you all are teaming up and able to do this together. So any opportunity we have to connect you guys, in the chat like this, we're going to. I know we sent out an email in the first week of this as well with accountability buddies, like that spreadsheet too. So make sure to bookmark that, revisit that, use that as a way to move forward and find, other real estate investors you can team up with from here too. To give everyone just a quick intro, if you haven't been on these before, Matt Camp over here with Deal Machine. Our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing, and we're very proud to say we're the highest rated, most reviewed app out there for investors to find off market deals. That's what this challenge was about, was being able to distill down our knowledge of what we've seen work literally over 10,000 times for people to land deals and turn that into a 3-week challenge where we set very intentional goals. We helped, really give you the playbook on how to find, how to build a great list of leads, how to reach out to potentially motivated sellers, how to follow up with them and make offers and start to close deals. So I'll do a quick, kind of crash course recap of that throughout this today. And then, in addition to that, again, we're going to wrap up with that grand prize giveaway and be able to send everybody off their way and say, hey, here's what's next. Here's how to take this from here and be successful, not just these last 3 weeks, but, really change your life using real estate moving forward too. So really excited to do that. Chad, did I miss anything, or are we ready to jump in?
No, lots of good, some comments coming in. We got people from all over, like we have every week. Elizabeth's in Washington. We got Kristen in Southern California. Kate's in Valencia, California. Parker is someone I know in Central. He actually works with me helps with property management for me. So nice to have Parker here doing his own thing as well. And then Brian's in Michigan. And then I think we got a couple people on YouTube and Facebook who've been checking in as well.
Awesome.
So welcome everyone.
Yeah, thanks for joining live here. So, and then we'll also send out the replay after as well, as we have each week. So, first and foremost, we just want to say, hey, congratulations, you've made it. Congrats. Like, it's this entire thing, again, it's been a challenge for a reason. It's something that we had really pushed you guys to be able to get out there and try to follow, keep pace with us, stay along with us, just for taking any action at all, like for investing your time in this, for getting out there and going to knowing the steps now, knowing exactly what you need to do, that playbook. Like you are in a much, much better position to succeed now than you were 3 weeks ago, based on you really investing in yourself and investing in your own education. And then for those of you who went out there and did the homework and took the action, like congratulations. That is love to see that. Like that is inspiring for me to see. Like whenever I see, I got tons of emails from you guys talking about how this challenge has changed their approach to real estate, has really kickstarted and been a couple you said a kick in the butt to get out there and start making things happen. Like that is what gets me fired up too. So congrats to all of you guys, no matter how big or small the wins were these last 3 weeks. Throughout this entire challenge, I know we've been talking about the power of real estate investing and how, it's the most powerful wealth generating tool ever created, for all of these reasons, for building cash flow, for, having, tenants pay down your equity, for appreciation, for tax savings, for all these ways, whether it be some, one or all four of them that you're kind of levering at one time, all these different ways are the opportunities to be able to build wealth using real estate like this. And right now is such an exciting time to get in this. I know in any kind of slowdown and any kind of downturn, or you hear recession thrown out there all the time, like it's just such a time of uncertainty. And any time like that, there are more problems out there to solve. There are more people in financial situations where they have a problem that you as an investor can come in and be extremely valuable to them. You can come in and offer speed, help them move quickly. You can offer convenience, move right now as is. You can offer cash to be able to help them in whatever problem they're facing. So our goal with this challenge was to help you build that list of people who are likely to be, somebody that you can solve a problem for, figure out how to reach out to them, how to let them know you can be a resource, and then actually close deals from that. And that, that's where in a situation like this, with a market like this, the key is no matter what you're going to do with that property, whether it be, wholesale or fix and flip or buy and hold or whatever your end goal is, buying right and solving a problem and trading that solution for equity for a good deal. That is the way to be able to do great in a time like this. So right now is the time to step up and take action. And that's why I know, Chad, you mentioned you were really excited to host this challenge around now for that reason too. But
yeah, and I was going to make a comment too, just about the market. I like to bring this up every week because it seems to be changing from week to week. Two things I was going to say. One is that I'm investing in this market. I just last Friday had a closing with a partner we're doing a deal with and putting a lot of money into a deal right now. So this is something I feel like as uncertainty comes, you have to look for your opportunities. You got to run the numbers. But this skill that we're building by finding deals, and also the other skills that I teach, like analysis of deals and putting deals together and the financing, all of these together, I feel like are even more important today than they were over the last 3 to 4 or 5 years. It was not that it was easy the last 3 to 5 years, but in some ways, like the financing and the numbers, it was pretty simple to analyze a deal if you can buy a property with a 3% interest rate or a 4% interest rate, and it just makes sense. Today's market, there are more opportunities, but I think the challenge of that, the other side of that, is you have to be an entrepreneur. You've got to learn how to negotiate. You've got to learn how to use creative financing in some cases. You've got to learn how to find deals that other people don't know about. So just want to confirm to you that, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. This is what we're doing. We're investing in this market. But also the way to make it work is what you're studying right now. These deal finding skills and more. That's what you have to have. It's like you got to go out and work out, and you got to build your muscles to make it work in a new market. You've got to adapt, and so you're in the right place to do that.
Love it. Yeah. So we were fired up to share that with you guys. Really help you take it, take action at this time and really know exactly what to do and not have to reinvent the wheel, and be able to pull from the playbook from the pros of what they've been doing over and over again. And where most investors get stuck in this process, even if they know that, again, real estate is the most powerful wealth generating tool out there, and they also, that, hey, now is a great time to get into it. Well, people just don't know where or how to find that great deal. So that was what this challenge was all about, was giving you that proven playbook. It's people like Ryan Haywood that we pulled these steps from, where he went through a 30-day challenge on his own back in January 2020. 17 days into it, he got his first deal. He's really focused on wholesaling, and he has scaled, his wholesaling business quite mightily. Like, it's crazy to see him and his wife and a few other people join on now. And they did 72 deals back in 2020, that first year, 400 plus deals using Deal Machine since then. So his playbook is what we pulled from for this challenge. Enzo Needy out of St. Louis. He's another one he's a small and mighty investor, really borrowing from, Coach's wording here, really focuses on, wholesaling a little bit and taking that cash and being able to reinvest that into his flips and buying and holding. He did 3/4 of his deals last year using Deal Machine and using the playbook that we talk about here. Antoine Ship, he's another one who's, again, this is for the really advanced investor like the Ryan Haywoods of the world, to Antoine Ship here, who he just started on his journey end of last year, did a fourplex, is really house hacking it, and, really used a lot of these tactics of how to find the lead and land the deal and all of that we talked through here, these last 3 weeks. And then I'll recap today for you guys. So just to kind of reiterate, what we went over. I'll try to go through this, pretty fast here. I'm gonna be throwing a lot at you just to make sure that everyone has that playbook. You're ready to keep going from here. You're ready to continue, but that you also know that hey, if you're jumping into this now, if you follow this every week, awesome. It'll reinforce a lot of what we learned. And then also, hey, if you're brand new to this, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, just sign up at that coachcarson.com/challenge. That's going to get you this replay as well. We will email that out to you as well. But through all of this is, if you're just finding this yourself and you're trying to go at your own speed, awesome. Watch this quick recap here. And this will be the crash course for you on, hey, here's what we learned those first 3 weeks. Here's how to build your list, how to market to your list, how to really go close that deal, how to make great offers. Coach will chime in here too. Chad will talk about, his perspective on some of this stuff as well. But is that okay if I kind of go through a quick recap here, Chad, to kind of catch everybody up?
Go for it. Let's do it. And then again, I just want to emphasize the replays. I know we had a lot of people asked the last couple of weeks. If you didn't make one of the calls or all of the calls, we'll send you a link. You can watch the replay. And this challenge can continue to work. So don't stop it this week. And we'll have the resources for you that we'll email out to you.
Yep. Perfect. So to kind of go through this, and again, at the very, very end of this as well, we're going to be doing that grand prize giveaway too for you guys. So first and foremost, just quick recap. Hey, we hosted 3 live trainings, which this has been a blast, man. I've really enjoyed doing these. I've enjoyed putting this on for you guys as well, like for the whole audience here, just from a standpoint of seeing like, hey, whenever we do these challenges, it's a tool, it's a playbook, it's something for you to run with. But in the end, the onus is on you to take action. And, it's much, much more fulfilling when we get out there, we do this, and you guys actually, you're running with it, like to see you email me back and say, hey, here's what I got out of this, and here's how it's changing our lives, and here's what we're going to be doing from here. Like, that is what we do this for. So want to say thank you to you guys watching this for getting out there, for taking action. I know I've really enjoyed these. As Chad just mentioned, we're going to be sending out those links afterward too. We will have given away over $3,500 in free stuff by the end of this too. And again, stick around for that giveaway. It's worth over $2,000 at the end here. So we're going to be sharing that out at the very, very end for you guys. And again, you have to be on live to win this. So we'll be giving it away to somebody who did that, who replied to that email, and also is on live here today. The quick recap, going through those first 3 weeks. Again, I'll show a lot of this inside Deal Machine. We also share links at the end too of, if you're going to use Deal Machine, how to do this in action for a 7-day free trial or for an entire year at a huge discount there too. So I'll give all that away at the after these quick trainings. I will mention, we had plenty of people do this by hand as well. So it is possible to do it by hand. Chad, do you want to talk about like how you got into Driving for Dollars, just to kind of show people like, hey, here's a couple options of how you can be doing this?
Yeah, I was the king of the do it by hand model. So way back in the day, some of the first seminars I went to were about deal finding. So luckily I kind of got into it early. And one of my favorite, I latched onto it. Somebody told me about Driving for Dollars and then sending little personal mailers out to these properties. And so my style in the beginning, I would have used Deal Machine in the very beginning if I would have had it. So I'm a big fan. But I would just take a spreadsheet and I would print it out. and I would have just little spaces on that spreadsheet to write the name of the address of the property. And then eventually I would look up the phone number or the address of where the person lives so I can mail them a letter. And it was just a simple little sheet, nothing fancy, rows and columns. And I would use the second half of that sheet to follow up. When I called them or I sent them a letter, I would just make a note, called them on this date or made an offer on this date. And I've got a stack of those things, kind of cool, which is something I've saved over the years for 3 or 4 years in a row. When I was buying properties, I would save all those so that I knew where each lead came from, where I found the property. And so I could tell you like for 4 years in a row where every property I bought was from. So you can do this manually. It's a lot easier though with technology these days to be able to track it, be able to send just efficiently your time. Everybody's busy right now. So it took probably 10 times more time to do that, but it can be done.
Yeah, and that's what, I mean, our whole focus for this challenge was really that driving for dollars approach of getting in your car, driving around, looking for fixer-upper properties, and then making a list of those to be able to reach out to and market to them and inquire about their property. That process, I would say, why we really focus on that is one, it's the number one way that newbies go land their first deal. It's also the most bang for your buck because they are the highest quality leads out there. It's the number one indicator of somebody who might be motivated to sell their property is physical distress. It's like, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the rundown house that's got the tarp on the roof, the gutters falling off, the, siding, boarded up window issues, looks vacant, or it could be less subtle. I use this kind of example, a couple of these, but we had on our first hire who landed his first deal using Deal Machine by getting out there and finding Halloween decorations up, and it was like March. It was around now. So things like that, where it's just, hey, for whatever reason, the property owner just isn't keeping up with the physical condition of the property or the look of it. That's what you're looking for. Also, because they're the least competitive leads out there too, because most people, what they're doing is they're finding a way to get a list from the city or from another software or whatever, like, any kind of really easy, simple to pull list out there can land you deals, but it's going to take a lot more leads and a lot more marketing to those leads to land that deal, because they're highly likely to be properties that other people are already hitting up and already inquiring about, and already asking if they want to sell their house, because those lists are very easy to get a hold of. There's a very low barrier to getting that list. Whereas, this whole strategy, the whole goal with this was, hey, get out there and find leads that aren't easy to get, because you've gone out there, you've earned this yourself, you've driven around, you've built this list, from the ground up, and no one else has this list. You're finding those diamonds in the rough that don't necessarily pop up on those types of easy to get a hold of lists. So that's what our goal was here, was to really set homework for you, set goals for you, and give you the method, the playbook to go out there, to go drive for dollars, and to get out there and find enough people and fill your pipeline with enough leads that you're going to go land that first deal, and then many after it. So showing this inside the app here, I can do that. Which, Chad, did you have anything else to add there before I jump over to the tech here?
Yeah, I was just going to let everybody know, especially people watch on YouTube and Facebook. I just put in the chat, we were talking about generating leads and building your list. And I just shared the three main ways that I always recommend people when you first get started, and what are kind of my core 3 ways. And they've been this way for 20 years and they're still working well, are driving for dollars, looking for MLS leads. So just having your realtor send you leads. It's a kind of hit or miss. You have to look at a lot of those, but that's also one I recommend. And then the third one was networking with other investors and professionals. So this could mean getting on wholesalers lists so that they send you deals themselves. They might be out driving for dollars and you can leverage their time, but also networking with other professionals. But of all 3 of those, driving for dollars is the one you can control the most. It's the one that you can do today. It's the one that can consistently generate leads more directly. But just wanted to give you those 3 tools, because really it's like fishing. You don't want to just fish with one fishing line. And if you really want to catch a fish, put 2 or 3 lines in. So those are just some tips for you to get some additional leads coming in on your list going forward.
Yeah, exactly. So I think being able to go out there and diversify your lead sources from that perspective and do those other things proactively too. Those are especially longer term strategies that the more you do it, it's going to get, it's going to kind of compound and get better and better and more effective for you. But right now, getting out there, going to find that first deal in a very controlled, in a way that is very much in your hands, to go out there and put that hustle in and go find this. That's what our goal was with this individual challenge here. So to show this off inside the app here for you guys, Chad, can you see the app here? Hopefully
we're good. Yep.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So I'll show this off here for you guys in just a second for you. But what I want to, here we go. What I want to show here to begin with is very simply, you want to start off in the Drive tab or inside the Deal Machine mobile app. It's going to look like this, where you've got just a general map right here where you have all, you can see the streets around you. You can even toggle it over to satellite view quickly. Here's to show you, here's what what your city looks like, the map right there. I'll stay on standard for this demo, but as you do this, you'll start to see all these black dots pop up around you. And those are just properties all around you in the real world. So you can see if I'm in, South City, St. Louis here. I'm based out of St. Louis. If anyone's in St. Louis, reach out. Would love to team up locally. But as we're looking out here, you'll see all these black dots pop up around me. Those are all houses that I can then, be able to click on and add to my list. All these blue dots right here, these are all properties that have had an MLS status within the last 12 months. So that way, that they were on market recently. You can see that when you click on a property, you can see, hey, this was sold recently. And then these blue pins right here, that means these are all properties I've added to my list. So I know each week we've been saying, hey, go add 100 leads to your list, keep building, keep driving, keep building it. That's what our goal was with helping you kind of set those numbers each week, because we know that if you're at that pace, you are highly likely to hit, to be able to go do a deal. And you're, looking at the data, we can figure out like how many leads does it take to get to a deal. Hey, if you can put in 100 leads a week like this, you're at a very, very good pace to be able to go out and land that first deal and land many after that. So that was our goal setting within this challenge. As you were driving around, you could see all these black dots. So you can click on a property, hit add lead and move on to the next one. So click on that, hit add lead and move on to the next one. If you want to look at more data about that particular property, you can click into it and see things like, hey, when was the last time it was sold? What was the sale price? What is the assessed value currently? What's the information on the mortgage? You can see more about year build, bed, bath, square footage, flood zones, zoning, all kinds of stuff here, where you have a ton of data you can dig into and start using to be able to figure out like, hey, is this a good lead or not? That being said, like first and foremost, what we're looking for is that physical distress. So I would say don't get hung up too much on the data beyond that. I would click on it, click on that lead, hit add lead and move on to the next one. And, be able to dig into that data, that ownership data here, secondarily as kind of the next tier of digging in to your list beyond that. So look first and foremost for that physical distress. I'll mention a couple quick pro tips that we went over here. We had this highlights button, which if you're on our pro level membership, you get access to. Highlights is super powerful to kind of figure out like where is a good place in your town to be able to do this strategy. What makes an even better lead? Like how do I find a high priority lead? It's this highlights button right here. It's using data to overlay that onto the map here. And again, everything that I do right now, I'm showing off the desktop version. The mobile app, again, looks just like this, just smashed down onto a mobile phone. And everything I do here will sync up there instantly too. So if I'm adding leads on here, adding leads on there, both of them are gonna add up to the same lead list and allow you to seamlessly work between mobile and desktop, regardless of what your end goal is there. So when you click on that highlights button right here, you'll be able to quickly see, hey, do I want to see, vacant properties around me, ones in a foreclosure status, absentee owned, MLS statuses, assumable mortgages, senior owner, hot neighborhood. I can start with hot neighborhood to kind of use that as a filter to say, hey, show me properties that have recently sold or, has a sale date less than 60 days ago in a single family. And it'll show me highlights start to pop up. And I can figure out like, hey, yeah, there's a lot of activity in this area and in this neighborhood. Like this is a good place that I should be looking around because, hey, that means there's probably going to be some more cash buyers interested if I'm going to wholesale it, or if I'm going to be renting it. Like it could be a good place for rents and appreciation. It's a good thing if there's activity going on there. So I would say that highlights button is a great way to kind of figure out what are really high quality leads, as well as what are really, really strong areas to be driving around and doing this strategy. I'll mention as well, whenever you add a lead, a couple pro tips that we talked about when we add that actual property. So say I'm driving down Arsenal Street right here, driving toward Grid. If I click on a house, I can see more again, if it's, what's the owner type? Is it owner occupied? Is it, absentee, what have you? If I hit add lead, when I do that, quite a few things are going to pop up on my screen here as different options of what I can do with that lead. Highly recommend adding tags to that lead, which this tagging system is going to pop up on the mobile app right in front of you when you add a lead. So it's very obvious to be able to do this. But when you go in here, I would hit add tag and then go in and say, hey, yeah, this is, a level of distress is very distressed, or this is high priority because, when I look at the data, they've got some, they've got a good, good equity for me to work with, or, what have you. Like I would use these tags to kind of indicate the level of priority, the level of distress, and kind of in real time score that lead for you. So that way, who to follow up with and where to start when you're actually following up. So, use this map, quickly add leads, add tags to those properties, and then finally hit the picture, the camera button right here if you're driving around, using the mobile app. And that's going to allow you to take a picture of that property that picture is going to go on marketing to that property in step 2 here. So remember, when you add leads, add tags with them, add pictures with them. I would highly recommend those 2 things. And that way you're really setting yourself up to save a lot of work down the road. So Chad, do you see any other urgent questions before I keep rolling here, or any other things you want to add?
No, we had one in the chat, but I answered for Kristen had a good question. And I was just going to point out the general idea when you're marketing. This is the first stage of your marketing. You're adding to your marketing funnel, to your list, is just how important it is to be organized. And the cool thing about Deal Machine is it has organization built in, those tag features and pressing a button and organizing it behind the scenes. But however you do it, being organized when you get this many leads is critical. Like I've seen a lot of students spend money on marketing, spend time on marketing. They're trying to get it done, but then the whole thing grinds to a halt because they're not organized with it. So they can follow up. And if you can't follow up, then you're just kind of wasting your time on the front end. And so I think that's just a really important feature that's built in there. But also you just have to have the discipline to be able to follow up on, for example, if some of those leads are really, really good, 5 out of the 50 leads you collected were really hot leads or really distressed, you want to make sure to follow up with those manually. You might make a note somewhere. And so your personal organization system is just as important as being able to generate the leads and find them yourself.
Absolutely. So I'll show off that in, step by step in here in just a minute as well too. So really good point there. Awesome. A couple of other quick pro tips. You see this little green line right here. This is my route tracking. So as I drive around an area, you're going to see a little green tail pop up behind you. At 6 months, that turns yellow, and at a year, that turns red. So that shows you like, hey, where have I driven? It makes sure that you don't double back on your routes. It helps you kind of look at the map to figure out, hey, what areas should I drive next? And how it really just helps you blanket an entire community or city by driving around and taking this strategy. Also, if you're going to add leads quickly, this pin mode, you can change to tap to add mode. And that way you don't have to do anything but just click on that property. And it's just going to quickly, add those pins for you and save you a ton of time if you're driving in an area that's got a lot of houses that are not in great shape and are good for you to target with this strategy. So definitely recommend those things. And then finally, I know I saw Kristen asked about virtually driving. Like, can you do this virtually as well? That's the top right corner right here. If you hit start driving, and you can do this on your mobile phone too, your mobile app as well. You can do it anytime, anywhere. This is a strategy to do if you want to invest in any market that you're not based out of. If you want to have a virtual assistant do it, if you want to do it, with bad weather, or, if you've got, a day job that's hard to get out there during the day. Like, there are many use cases for this kind of virtual driving approach. But when you click that, you can just click on anywhere on the map, hit start driving. And just like you would in real life, it's going to import, kind of street image right here, street view. And, you can click for dollars here, click that, drive down the street, it doesn't matter if it's a one way and, be able to look at a property right here where you can see the condition of the property. Hey, you've got a little, looks a little beat up here. Cool. Absentee owned as well. Awesome. That's probably a good lead right there. Hit add lead. You can say, hey, it's somewhat distressed, we'll call it high priority, and then we'll move on to the next one. So just like you would in real life, do this where you're looking at the property, being able to kind of, see is it run down or not, hit add lead, and then keep going and keep building that list virtually as well as you would in real life. So this way, if you're going to use this, very similar to, physical driving for dollars, of you being able to tap into all this data and, look at mortgage info and things like that. But I would recommend making sure you compare when the last sale date was. So if I look at this and see that the sale date was 2018, make sure the picture is more updated since that last sale date. So that way it hasn't sold since that picture was taken. And, if it has, then probably not a good lead. It's changed hands since that picture was taken. You'll see right here, it says photo taken June 2022. So we're good here. But I would always double check that, that particular stat of like sale date versus actual picture taken date. So I think that's all I've got on step one here. So anything else you think I missed there, Chad, or can I jump into marketing?
No, it just always makes me want to invest in St. Louis when I see all your beautiful duplexes there. So good housing stock in St. Louis County.
Absolutely, man. Well, and this is South City right here too. So we've got, it's for sure just the entire St. Louis area. It's a good cash flow market, I would say. So, it will give you drive summaries right here. And you can also, if you're on our pro level membership too, one last thing, you can add drivers too. So you could go in here, go to team and then add a driver right there where they can actually come in your account and add leads with you and for you too. So think about that. Think about adding kind of bird dogs, deal finders, if you heard of those, as a way to kind of expand the strategy and keep doing more and more lead volume. So all of that was kind of week one. Week two for you here was marketing to those leads. So quickly through this, what we talked about was taking a two-pronged approach. So doing short-term marketing with long-term marketing in tandem. We really define short-term marketing as one-to-one marketing, which takes more effort, takes your time to get out there and cold call or text or door knock or leave a sticky note on the new door hanger. There's a lot of things that I would categorize under that, but it's one-to-one outreach that you can also use technology to aid you and make easier, but still it's going to take your time to get out there and reach out to those leads. So that's when Chad had mentioned like, hey, how do we prioritize leads here? Everything that we add on the map right here goes to this leads tab. And this is inside the mobile app as well. But you click on that leads tab, you jump in here and you can see, hey, here are individual properties that I just drove around and added. And when I view each lead, you'll see two buttons pop up. I've got my skip trace button and my start mail button. Now, skip trace, that would be under the one-to-one outreach category. That skip trace is just pinging a database, coming back with contact information like phone numbers, email addresses, things like that, where we really give you premium skip trace data. And you might get 3 to 7 phone numbers on average back to you inside Deal Machine. And you can go through those numbers and see, what is the caller ID? Is it on the do not call list? Is it disconnected? Is it landline or mobile? You get a lot of, follow-up data there to really help you prioritize those numbers. And then you can just quickly hit, hey, copy and call, right into your dialer and call them from there. So I would say in terms of one-to-one outreach, look at your leads right here. If you tag things as high priority, like I was recommending in that last step, you can filter and say, filter my leads and create a filter and say, filter them by the tag of high priority. And that way I know if I'm going to actually spend the time calling people or texting or emailing or door knocking them, that I can just do this. So that way I know I'm spending my time on the highest priority lead right in front of me there. So I highly recommend that. But that's kind of in terms of the two-pronged outreach. You've got short-term marketing and then long-term marketing. Short-term marketing, again, skip tracing is going to feed right into that for you. That's going to be a really good place to start. You also do have inside Deal Machine a drive this list button if you're on our pro level membership and up too. The pro level member, if you hit, let's see, there's a couple ways you can drive this list. You hit add leads and you can import a list. So, if you have any kind of outside resource, like if you've gotten it from another technology or you've gotten it, you've gotten a water shutoff list or what have you, whatever that list is from, be able to import it right there. And then you can open it up inside Deal Machine and say, hey, yeah, let me see these 62 leads. And then I have this drive this list button right here where if I hit drive this list, it'll, go into my mobile app and it'll give me GPS directions turn by turn by turn to every single property on this list, all 62. It's going to take me 3 hours and 24 minutes to do it. And I can get started, right now, or have, someone else, if I have someone else on my team as well, someone else is a driver, I can have them do that as well too. So this is super, super powerful if you're going to be door knocking or leaving sticky notes on the door, anything like that in person. Use that drive this list feature and get out there and do it as efficiently as possible. So,
Matt, I was going to bring up a question that Matthew had in the chat that I think was worthwhile for everybody. Just related to what characteristics of a neighborhood or a location make the best or kind of target rich, I guess, environment to go drive for dollars. Those are my words. And I'm going to throw one or two ideas out. Maybe Matt, you can chime in as well. But I think if you had to filter locations, it is good to try to think ahead of time which neighborhoods in a whole city or a town might be the best ones to drive. And I think you can do it in a couple ways. One, I would look at the age of the housing stock. I think that's a really good place to start. Because what's really interesting, I've loved to learn about neighborhoods and the life cycle of neighborhoods as I've been an investor. If you look at when a house is built, and then over the decades, they go through cycles, and they often go through cycles because of the maintenance and the running down of the buildings. Just over time, roofs start wearing out, and not everybody fixes them up, and so you'll just see that happen over time. And so if you can catch neighborhoods when they're in a cycle where they're not all like getting worse, but you have some, there maybe it's a 50-year-old neighborhood and some of them are being fixed up, but there's still a lot of older properties that need a lot of work. That's a good neighborhood to shoot for. That's different than maybe a neighborhood that's only 5 years old or 10 years old. You're not going to have as many physical distress type properties that are obvious in that neighborhood. You might still get some deals there, different types of deals. But I would first recommend looking at life cycles. And right now, if you think we're in 2023, properties that were built in the early 2000s, I think are a good bet. That was kind of during the run up to the 2007 recession. If you can find neighborhoods that were built in those eras, that's a pretty good type of property, because it's not quite as old as some of the 1930s, 40s, 50s houses, which have a lot of things that need to be replaced, but they're still old enough to be have issues and problems that you can fix and solve as an investor. So early 2000s, I like. I also like really old properties too, and I don't mind dealing with some of that. The 1950s brick properties with hardwood floors, or the 1940s. I think those are pretty cool too. And so you can do the same thing. You can start looking at eras of properties and neighborhoods, and that's my number one recommendation, is looking at age. But Matt, you might have some other ones you want to throw out there as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start. Is your build. I always recommend over 30 years or ago or older as well, just so that way. If you have a certain decade that you target, that's even better. But if you are able to at least target a bit of an older home, so that way they're more likely to have some distress or have some more equity. There's a lot of reasons why a little bit older with this strategy is going to be helpful. I always recommend by property type. You can go in there and we have hundreds of property types here, everything from commercial to industrial to all kind, vacant land, all kinds of stuff. We have a ton you can work from. But you can also be very generic and say, hey, let me find single family homes. I would start there. So single family, or you can do by unit count, if you're looking for multifamily or small multifamily, like duplexes, like you mentioned there. And then, so your build property type. And then I also highly recommend some kind of target value on it. So if you go into calculated total value, you could set a minimum threshold or a certain area of, hey, I want to look for things that are 100 to 400K or what have you. So if I say, hey, at least greater than 100K right here, confirm that the intersection of those three, you can apply highlights and you'll see entire areas light up, which I think, yeah, here you go. This neighborhood's very, fits all those things. So you'll see entire blocks light up here where it's saying, hey, yeah, these are older homes that are single family that have a good assessed value for me to work with. Awesome. This is a good place for me to start. So good question there, Matthew.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in one other, Matt, if you don't mind, one other piece of feedback. A more broad investor strategy is to make sure to have what I call a target property profile, or even more simply, you could just call it a buy box. What we're talking about here is really about building a buy box. And so you want to figure out what locations you want to invest in, and you also want to figure out what types of properties you want to invest in. And the more specific you get, especially as a new investor or somebody who's not getting a lot of traction, don't be too broad. Don't say, I'll just take any deal in the whole town. You need to be very specific. And once you've exhausted that little niche of a buy box, then you can spread out and go look for another one. But the more specific you can be is a really important tip as a real estate investor who's looking for deals. The more specific you are, the more likely you are to find those.
For sure. And this, I had very, very broad qualifications defined, and just, hey, is this a good neighborhood to drive? But then in terms of the actual individual property, absolutely. You can get extremely specific and have, 10 things lined up here. And as you're driving around, if you find a physically distressed house that also hits all of those things and is lit up as you drive by, the highlights lit up, hey, that's a really good property to add. So definitely recommend kind of using data in a couple different ways there. But Awesome. So, again, you're building your list. You're again, with this challenge, we said 100 leads a week. You got up to, build that list and got up to that number. And here you're also then following up with them with that short-term outreach, that, skip tracing, and then, being able to do in-person touch points if you want to take that route using the Drive This List feature. And then secondly, again, the two-pronged approach, it's short-term marketing plus long-term marketing. We showed off week 2. Long-term marketing means mail. So going in here and setting and forgetting it with mail pieces, where if I hit start mail to this particular property owner, it's going to pop up and say, hey, here's the exact postcard it's going to send them. Here's what it's going to look like front and back. This is all customizable. We have, 9 or 10 default templates that you can go in here and change and choose from, and, pick whichever ones you like. And all those templates as well are also set up for success. Like they are tested and true. That's Ryan Haywood, the guy that's done over 400 deals using Deal Machine. He uses those default templates. So it's, they're set up very well for you, or you can go in there and customize them to your liking. And then you'll see like, hey, here's how often I'm going to send mail. I'm going to send mail automatically. This is why it's long-term marketing, is that it's going to be a set it and forget it strategy. It's a strategy you can do one to many. It's not going to take your effort over and over and over again. You can just simply say, hey, send them a piece of mail every 21 days. And, it's going to send 6 pieces of mail total. Here's when it's going to go out. Here's what it's going to look like. And, they're scheduled to get each of these pieces. And you can just set them on this nurture campaign. And why that's so important is that, hey, if you're sending them a piece of mail, this is something that is going to be, the goal here is going to be getting in front of them, right place, right time. So, overall, like with this strategy, yeah, you're trying to get a lot of big numbers up. You're trying to get as many people as you can talk to, because you're trying to find somebody who is dealing with a problem right now that you can solve for them right now using the tools at your disposal. Again, speed, convenience, cash, what we talked about at the beginning of this call. So with these mailers, you can get in front of them and they might not be ready to sell right now. They might be ready to sell in 3 months or 3 years, but you're putting marketing in front of them where you are at the top of the mail pile. You're on top of their mind. You are somebody that they know is an option when they are ready to sell and they do have an urgent problem. So that's our goal with this strategy. And looking at the data, it takes you to send at least 3 mailers to cross over that 50% threshold in terms of, being able to actually get that call back if it is a qualified lead. Like looking at the data, sending at least 3 follow-up mailers to somebody is really, really to your advantage. So being able to do that over and over again and just say, hey, let me hit send mail and move on to the next one. I don't have to worry about it after that. And you can just stay top of mind. That is super, super powerful. So let me pause this mailer so we can actually mail out to its owner. But, being able to do this inside Deal Machine, again, we showed off the individual mail templates. We showed off this mail tab where you can go into an actual mail center here and track how many you're sending this month, how much you're going to spend on mail this month, how much you sent last month and your spend there. You can see the actual status of these individual postcards, like was it delivered and is it in transit? They usually take about a week to deliver once you hit send mail. So you can see all of that right in here. You can change the sizing of postcards. So you can click on the postcard and say, hey, I want to send, these different sizes. I want to send a handwritten postcard, ballpoint letters that we're actually the only ones that you can do one-off ballpoint letters through. It's ballpoint marketing letters. And they're literally handwritten by a robot, which is crazy to see the unfinished product here. But they look really, really sharp. They come in an envelope like that. They're more expensive because they take more effort to put out there, but they also get a higher response rate, much higher. So I would say mix in a variety of different sizes and colorings and designs and handwritten versus not. But you can do all that really easily inside the mail tab, and we try to show that off of every individual lead that you send mail to. You can do that. So that's all really easy in there. And then last thing too is, I talked about adding a picture to the property, like when you drive by to take a picture of that house. When you do that, that is what's going to show up on the postcard. Like this actual image right here is going to be the picture that you took if you took the time out to do that while you were driving for dollars. So all of that stuff, again, if you want to, I know I'm going over this quickly. If you want a real deep dive on all the details, make sure to rewatch our week 2 training. But wanted to share with you guys like, hey, short-term plus long-term marketing is going to equal long-term success with this strategy. So.
Matt, I'm going to make one more comment that hopefully would be helpful for people, because we're talking about short-term and long-term marketing. And I talk to a lot of you and I get emails from a lot of you about what some of your struggles are. And I know there's kind of two big categories of why people aren't buying deals. And one of them is, hey, I don't have enough time to do this. I'm busy. And the other one is, I don't have enough money to buy any deals. And the cool thing about what we're talking about here, especially I think Deal Machine serves both of these strategies to find deals. If you don't have a lot of money, this is where when I first started as an investor, you can use this short-term strategy to do the things that we talked about, take a little bit more time, like a little bit more effort to go door knock or leave door hangers or call people one-on-one, and use the phone number tool here in Deal Machine to get, phone numbers for neighbors and for family members. Like, if you're willing to hustle and use your time, even if you don't have any money, you can find deals that you can then go take and partner with other people who do have the money, or wholesale those deals. And that's exactly how I got started. So I was a person with no money, but tons of time and tons of enthusiasm. On the other side is, a lot of you have the money to do the deal, but you're like, I've got like an hour a week or 5 hours a week, and I'm working a job all the time. And so you're going to really have to lean heavily on the drip marketing and use your money and to spend that money on marketing. Like, if you really want to make a difference, you either got to spend your time or you got to spend your money, or do both. Like, if you want to do both, that'd be great. But you can't get away with getting deals in a market like this, or any market really, if you don't do one or the other or both. And so I think it's really cool that the Deal Machine has this tool for those of you who don't have much time. Just press a button and start sending mail. And then you can send it for 3 times or 5 times in a row. That is such a game changer for those of you who are really busy, because you now know, I can spend some money on that to make a difference. And then you got to take the calls and you got to follow up. So there is some time there, but this can make a big difference in how you actually get deals with a very, very limited amount of time.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it, the time versus money approach. So ideally, you're doing a mix of both. Like, if you do a creative marketing strategy, you're able to get people to respond. Like, some people are going to respond to calls versus text versus door knocks versus direct mail, right? But if you're able to think about it, break it down, like Chad just said, to start with, that's a great way to kind of analyze where to spend your time first, or your money and your resources. So, cool. So that was week 2. Was week 1 building the list, week 2 marketing that list. Week 3 was never letting a lead fall through the cracks, and really talking through how do you build those systems and processes that Chad mentioned to just stay organized and treat this like a real business and follow up with people and do with what you're going to say you're going to do. Inside Deal Machine, to show this in action, again, in the leads tab right here, we really have this built to be a CRM for you, a customer relationship management software for you as well, where, again, you can add leads, from any outside source. You can even export leads too. Like, if I want to take my 15,000 leads and go, export them and, use them somewhere else, that's great too. You can do that as well. I'm going to act really like seamless with other things that you're doing as well. But I would say, to begin with, you can kind of use this lead status as a kind of a pipeline management tool right here, where you can mark a lead as having marketing, or if you send an offer to them yet, or your follow-up process, where in the sales process are you, where in kind of your pipeline are you? And then, this filtering system I'm really mentioning, like, this is great for understanding who to reach out to first, and kind of how to manage your tags. Like, if you're tagging leads as you add them, definitely recommend using this, where you can go in and say, hey, yeah, show me all my high priority leads. And this is where I'm going to, spend the majority of my time today, is on those high priority leads. But when it comes to actually staying organized and following through with people, and really, never letting leads slip through the cracks, there's kind of 2 specific things we really harp on. There's note taking, and there's task management. So the note taking, again, if you go into a lead right here, you can go, we've been looking at info right here. If you look over here, we've got mail, we showed that off, right? And then activity. This tab right here is key for being able to stay organized. This activity tab right here, you can use that to be able to click add and then add notes. So if I'm talking to the owner right here and I find out more information about, again, what is the condition of the property? Why do they want to sell it? What's their timeline to sell it? If we talk pricing at all, and these big broad questions where we're turning over clues. I know Chad used kind of the puzzle analogy. Like, I love that, of you being able to really come in and ask great questions, open-ended questions, really field their concerns and really listen to what they're dealing with. Take all those notes right here. You can attach documents too right here, but take all those notes right here. Just stay really organized, where you can say, hey, it's an inherited property. They've got 2 kids. You can take personal notes here. You can take all kinds of, anything that you talk to them about, dump that right into here. So that way you're always staying organized. You're always tracking each conversation with that owner. It's something that the more people you talk to, the more exacerbated this problem is going to become. Like it's easy to keep track of individual conversations at first, but as you talk to more and more leads, this can get, hard to track and hard to manage. So we talked about staying organized that way. And then following up with people, being able to actually stay top of mind and know like, hey, here's what I need to do next. I need to go on an appointment. I need to follow through with a contract. I need to do X, Y, Z. Hit this add button again and add tasks, where this task management, you can just go in and say, yeah, I've got an appointment at 2 p.m. Tomorrow. Let me set that due date tomorrow. Cool. Create task right here. And then when I jump into Deal Machine, I'll be able to go to this top right corner, this little task manager, and see every single day, hey, what do I need to do today? Oh, I need to go to my appointment today. Let me complete that task and move on to the next thing I need to do. So, if you do this, if you stay organized, if you treat it like a business where you're taking notes and building a real relationship with people that way, and then you're adding tasks and managing those tasks and staying, again, doing what you say you're going to do, you're going to beat 80-90% of salespeople out there who are in any kind of sales role, because that the fortune is in the follow-up, and that is where people falter the most, is where the easy place to lose track and not stay organized and not follow up with all these individual conversations you're having. So, yeah, go ahead, Jim.
I love this part that I just couldn't emphasize it enough, that if you want, there's a few things we've talked about tonight that are really competitive advantages. And that's what you need to be on these calls for. You need to be listening for, like, how can I compete out there? How can I do better than the other people who are also looking for deals? And what Matt's talking about here is absolutely one of the most important competitive advantages you have, which is just being able to be organized and follow up. Like, you would think that would not be that big of a deal, but it is. And I know this as someone who's been an investor, but also I see behind the scenes as I coach people and teach people, I'm seeing how few people stay organized and follow up. So if you just want to be above the rest, if you can be in the top 1% of investors who follow up and stay organized, you're going to get extra deals. This is going to translate into you making more money, to building more wealth. And so so this is a specific competitive advantage, but in general, you should be looking for what can I do to have a competitive advantage all around in my real estate business, with my rental properties, when I'm finding deals, when I'm getting financing. This is one of the most important questions we ask as an entrepreneur. And when you can find these little leverage points, these little competitive advantages using a technology, using a tool like Deal Machine, you got to go all in. You got to take advantage of it and use it so that you can then get a return on investment and make money as a result.
Yep, exactly. So I, like Chad said too, I mean, these competitive advantages, we try to go in depth with them every single week. So make sure to check out the replays. I know we're doing a quick recap today before we get to that final giveaway for you guys, but wanted to reiterate this. And if you went through these, the first time through, awesome. Like you're putting yourself in an even better position to succeed. Hopefully you learned more the second time through. It's really solidifying these strategies, and really you're picking up more and more detail here as we go through all this. So that was week 3, was laying that out. We also talked about making confident offers, which Chad, I know this is your forte as well, as like, how do you analyze that rental property? Is there anything you want to mention there? I know you did a great kind of recap last time on this, but
yeah, I know one of the big challenges that a lot of you out there are finding right now is the market's changed. Interest rates have changed. And so does that just totally change everything about how you analyze a deal? Well, the fundamentals of the fundamentals. It's just made it more difficult, because if you go in and pay a certain price for a property, the interest rate you'll pay going to the bank has gone up compared to what it was a year and a half ago. So how do you solve for that? Well, I'm just going to give you some general feedback. This goes back to competitive advantages. Those of you who know how to use different kinds of financing, creative financing, seller financing, lease options, using partners. Maybe you can have a money partner who can take a lower cash on cash return in exchange for some equity on the back end. There's all sorts of creative ways. You got to think outside the box, but here's the key. No matter what you use for financing, you've got to have a good deal. The better your deal is, the more options you'll have for financing. So it all comes back to this. Like, your job is to find good deals, to make offers that are below the value. Typically, if you can buy deals at 80 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar, that gives you tons of options. And, maybe that property didn't cash flow buying it at a retail price, but buying it at 90 cents on the dollar, 80 cents, 70 cents on the dollar, you start to find that deal that didn't cash flow before might start cash flowing by getting a better deal on it.
Love that recap. Yeah, and I know you do a phenomenal job of kind of breaking down the numbers and whiteboarding all that stuff. So definitely check out Chad's YouTube as well. I mean, you might be watching this on YouTube right now, but being able to go in there and see him do that on a full whiteboard. I know you did that a little bit last week as well, just kind of breaking down specific numbers and things. So, I think that's a great message overall. One thing inside Deal Machine we really help you guys with is just getting confidence from using data. And that means, especially having that ARV, that after repair value number to work backwards from and to include within kind of that maximum allowable offer formula here. We have a comps tool inside Deal Machine as well to help you with that. I would say, again, we showed off the info tab, the mail tab, activity investments, just some number, some spots to put your numbers in. But this comps tab right here, this is a great place to be able to use an on-the-go comps tool and just give even newbies the confidence to go in and have that scary conversation, potentially scary, around pricing and talking numbers like that. So when you click on that, let me expand this for you. This is, again, on mobile on the go, or you can do this on desktop. It looks the same in both, where you can go in and actually filter your comps and say, hey, let me see comps from the last 3 months, or however close you want to get there. Show me plus or minus 15% in terms of square footage. Here's what the property I'm looking at is. Plus or minus 15 years on year built. So it's built in 1900. Got plus or minus 15 years here. Bedroom, bathroom, you can adjust range, all of that stuff. And then it's going to spit back and say, hey, based on all of your filters, here are all the properties around me that fit that particular criteria. And then when I zoom in here, here's my property right here, right? I can actually use the draw tool and get really specific on hey, only show me properties, in this little box. And when I do that, here, let me move this here for me. Oh, let me clear that drawing one more time for you guys. When you do that, it'll filter down to those couple comped out properties. And then you can also, again, select and deselect them right here. So that way you can use this as a way to just on the go. You can see, hey, every time I select or deselect a property, it's going to dynamically update the value of that based on dollars per square footage. So it'll really help you kind of look at all of these and say, hey, yeah, show me the 3 comps that make the most sense right here. And then, you can even dig into this, and a lot of properties will even have MLS photos. Let me see if this one does. Yeah, it'll show you MLS photos too. So you can say, yeah, this property might at 4170 Shenandoah might be worth 338, but here's the condition of this property, and yours going to take 100K to get to this level. It'll help you really use that to your advantage too. So you've got a lot of data to work with, and can do it on the go in front, even in front of the seller, and kind of use this as a great negotiation tool to come to that number for you. So awesome. Any compelling questions there you want me to add, Chad, before I move on to the next part here?
No, I think we're doing a good job explaining it. I'm not getting as many comments in the chat right now, but I think Aaron. I got a comment from Aaron here on YouTube that I'll follow up with in the chat as well. But yeah, let's keep on rolling, and then we can. If there's any other questions you all have, feel free to drop them in the chat, and Matt and I will be happy to get to them right after this.
Okay, cool. And Aaron, yeah, here's my email too. It's just matt@dealmachine.com. Chad and I will work with you afterwards as well to make sure that you're all set there too. But the last thing I want to mention before we get into the kind of bonuses and then giveaway as well. One thing I know we kind of harped on this throughout the entire challenge, but just giving people the permission to say that that it's okay to say, I don't know, to a seller. Like it's okay to say, hey, let me get back to you in 24 hours, or let me ask my partner. I know this is a huge limiting belief for a lot of people that we talk to through challenges like this, where David, even, our CEO and founder, he struggled with this forever, of just feeling like he needed to know everything. And especially because there's just so much information out there today, like you can get analysis paralysis really easily. And that was our goal with this challenge, is to give you a very simple, straightforward, hey, go out there, build your list of leads, reach out to them, and start having conversations with them. And as you do that, you will learn as you go. You will learn from experience. You have people, you have the challenge like this to fall back on. You have this community. We're trying to help you like meet other people in this challenge, and you have a little bit kind of meet your accountability buddies this way. You've got Coach Carson right here. I know you have a ton of resources to help people as well. So we just want to give people this kind of the advice of, hey, leading with that action, learning by doing, and then getting on-demand knowledge, having these on-demand knowledge resources like Coach here to fall back on and keep moving forward and keep learning and keep taking action. So that is the one thing that we see is common among everybody that succeeds in this is leading with action. So wanted to give people that kind of encouragement there. Did you have anything to add there, Chad, too, before we jump into the bonuses? Or
yeah, I would just say being an entrepreneur is to be uncertain. You're never going to have it all figured out. I still don't have it all figured out 21 years later. Don't let that be a scary thing. Let that be something to spur you on and motivate you to learn more. But more than anything, let it be a challenge to you to bring your team together. Like nobody is the all-star of every single position on a basketball team, which I love playing basketball. Nobody's does every single position in the football team or whatever sport you're playing. Real estate investing is the same way. So where you have deficiencies, where you have weaknesses, where you're afraid to do certain things, that's where your team really comes in. This is a team sport, and this is an education sport and a team sport. You got to get educated. You got to build your knowledge where you're not strong. But you also got to build team. And so in the meantime, we were talking about comps and running numbers. That's such an important skill to make confident offers, especially right now as the market's changing. And so if that's not your skill at the moment, having a good real estate agent, having a good property manager, having a good investor friend who can help you run those comps, that's where you can kind of fill in those places that might stop you from actually making an offer or stop you from moving forward. So don't let that stop you. Be willing to bring other people in and be a team player. That's always been how I've made it work for myself. And to this day, there's tons of things I don't know how to do. I'll call somebody else, ask them, bring in an expert to help me out.
Yeah. And when I say on-demand knowledge, that's what I'm referring to, is having that team to fall back on, whether they be in the informal team like mentors or, formal like a real estate agent. So, or partner. So awesome. Before we get into the giveaway, last two things to wrap up. We had those 2 special bonuses we've been sharing through this challenge. We have the just 7-day free trial, so just dmcarson.com. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, dmcarson.com there. You have that 7-day free trial with $30 free in the app that covers a bunch of the marketing for you, like the postcards, skip tracing, all of that, to be able to get out there and go start talking to sellers and, do that as much for the lowest cost possible and as much free as you possibly can. And then secondly, we had a full annual deal too of, hey, if you're going to stick with this way beyond the challenge, and you're going to do this, beyond a couple months, you're going to make this habit, you're going to make this a challenge to help go with this deal versus anything on our website. Dealmachine.com/Coach Carson is going to be 50% off all of this stuff, where we give you Deal Machine Pro for a full year, which that gives you up to 3 users, up to 50K leads for driving for dollars, virtual driving, all of the map features, the route highlights, or the highlights, the planned routes, all that stuff, all the mail center features, all the CRM features, all the, the comps, everything I showed off today. You get List Builder as well for free thrown in there too. That's an upgrade. That would be a way to pull a list of leads, especially if you're going to drive that list. Like, this is a really awesome way to get a list to drive, is through our List Builder. And then you also get $30 in free marketing. Again, the skip traces, postcards, all that stuff. Chad, you want to talk about your Deal Finder course that they get for free with this too?
Yeah, I'll mention that. I also just want to reiterate investing in technology for marketing. This has been something that my entire business has been the best return on investment I've ever spent. Has always been marketing. Education's right up there with that. So just wanted to mention that if you're in the business, particularly the year long investment, if you're really going to be doing this for a long time and you're committed to it, that's going to be one of your best investments you make. It's going to make a lot more money return on investment than any piece of real estate you're going to buy, because you're going to buy more wealth and compound it. So that's just an aside about spending money on marketing. The bonus that I'm throwing in is a course, and it's going to be a course to help you find other ways to find deals. So it has a list, almost like a cafeteria list of different ways that I found deals and ways you can buy properties. And so it includes driving for dollars, but also includes, for example, finding houses that are in probate, or houses that are in foreclosure, or houses that have tax liens against them. Lots of different options, lots of different ways to find deals. You can be creative. You kind of pick that like a cafeteria line and say, all right, I want to try these 2 out. I want to try these 3 out. And it's just an extra education resource for those of you who are kind of all in, really ready to make this happen and spend the money on marketing and education.
Awesome. So I'll give you guys here just like 10 seconds to be able to scan this for you. Again, the left side is going to be a 7-day free trial. So that's if you're wanting to just try it out for 7 days. Awesome. Right side is 50% off for that full year if you're going to try that out. And then once we're done with this, we're going to jump into that giveaway here for you guys, that grand prize giveaway. So love to see the people who have stuck around with us, through the full hour. Thanks for going a few minutes over with us. Chad, do you see any other urgent questions before we do the giveaway? Or
no, I think we're good to go. Let's do it.
Awesome, guys. Cool. And again, you have to be on live to win this thing. So really excited to do this with you. So now finally it's time, $2,000 grand prize live giveaway. So our winner, what they're going to get, we're going to be giving away, again, a year Deal Machine Pro, a year of List Builder. So both of those things that we gave you the rundown on that full annual deal, getting that completely free here for you. Also free skip traces, free postcards, all that stuff unlocked for you. And again, the course. So everything included in that annual deal for you, the 50% off deal, this is 100% off. One person's winning that. One person's getting this. Will be set up for success for the entire year. The technology they need, to build a list, to be able to drive for dollars, be able to reach out to those people, and then have the course to back it all up too. So what we're going to do to be able to select this for you guys, what I'm going to go through is I have everyone who replied to my email. There was an email we sent out. Again, it's coachcarson.com/challenge if you're on the Facebook or YouTube here. That email that we sent out gave you requirements of, hey, reply to that email, talk about how real estate's going to transform your life and how this challenge has started you down that path. And we're going to go through and randomly select one of those people. So I have a random number generator on my desktop here. Let me get to this for you guys. Got everybody marked in my email here. So hold on a second. I'll pull this up for you. Going to be able to hit the number generator. We're going to select one. Let's see. And if you missed this one, again, I know we have tried to send out emails throughout this whole thing. I know it's been, appreciate you guys being a dead sprint for these 21 days. Like, it's awesome to see the inspiration of how many people took action, how many people replied to this, how many people were fired up to get this. Regardless, yes, our goal is to give you this, we're giving away a grand prize here, but the real prize beyond this isn't just the software. It's landing deals. It's getting out there. It's going out there and doing your first deal, doing many after this. You have the playbook to succeed. A lot of you have the technology to succeed now. Get out there and make this happen. So, again, good luck to everybody for this giveaway. And, the goal is hey, help go do many deals after this. That's the real prize here. So, I'm a little choppy here, Chad.
Yeah, it broke up a little bit, and so if we are doing the grand prize and you fade out, I'll let you know so we can repeat it.
All right, let's see here. We have is Enzo Grilly. My apologies on pronunciation. Enzo, is he on here? It looks like Enzo is in here. So jump in the chat if you can hear us, Enzo. We went through. Congratulations. Hopefully I don't break up too much.
Yeah, I do see Enzo on the chat.
On the attendees? Okay, awesome. Yeah. Enzo, you are the grand prize winner of this stuff, man. So congratulations here. Hopefully you can catch up to us in the chat here. Again, and so he's on there. Yeah, I see him now too. Okay, cool. Won a free full year Deal Machine Pro, free full year of List Builder, $100 in free or all the free marketing credits there. And then the entire Deal Finder course here too. So, Enzo, jump in the chat and hopefully you can celebrate with us here live. I know we've got, I see you on here. So congratulations on winning, man. But I will say hopefully you can jump in here and respond for us here. His email to us is pretty inspiring to read. So let me say this really quick. So it says, in response to the request and to enter the grand prize drawing, my journey started a few years ago when I had a conversation with a coworker who was starting his real estate journey. There he is. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. There we go. Congrats, Enzo. He gave me a number of tips on how to educate myself and some things to consider. At the time, he had not completed his first deal. Fast forward to the present, he has 4 properties and 7 units. Through all this, I've been trying to educate myself as he recommended. And as I watch what's happening in our economy and society in general, I'm realizing I need to take action sooner than later. Real estate is going to transform my life in such a way that the work I put in will benefit me, my family, my community, something tangible I can point to that allows me to feel good about the contributions I'm making. The recognition I now have for my work in real estate can be more impactful than my 9 to 5, and my financial health as I near retirement has been eye-opening. I firmly believe I was in the analysis paralysis stage. I'm an engineer by trade, so that's not really surprising. I love that. And this challenge gave me the push to actually develop leads and take action. Looking back, I think I had worked so hard to understand the fundamentals, I was ignoring the action necessary to put those fundamentals to work. That is extremely common. It's so easy to think that you need to know everything before you actually get out there and do the actions that are going to lead to a deal, and not just passively educate yourself. This challenge has given me the tools necessary to reach out to people confidently to begin this journey for real. So for that, I thank you and Chad so much for this extra push, Enzo. Awesome. Yes. Really, really cool, man. Congratulations.
So cool to hear. And also the wisdom Enzo is sharing is really good, because I think we've all been there, and I know I have, where you get stuck in that spot where you're learning, and learning is a good thing, right? I mean, you want to learn, you want to educate yourself, but learning in the entrepreneur in school, where you had to go pass a test at the end of this quarter or in the semester or whatever, and there's a right answer. Whereas learning in real estate investing is kind of, you learn it in the books, or you learn it on a podcast, and you have to go apply it in real life, and it's kind of fuzzy. Like, what's the right answer here? So all of you are doing the work. It's not easy, but these tools I really hope are helpful to you. I really appreciate Deal Machine putting this together and giving you the bonus to do this. So I just ask that you follow up, Enzo. Let us know how it goes. Email me, email Matt. I'll share it as well with my newsletter list, because we just love to hear how it goes and how you can follow up and turn that into those properties that you're talking about that can make a difference over the long run.
There we go. Now, one last message from us. Again, Enzo, I'll be in touch to give you all the $2,000 plus worth of free stuff. So congrats again, man. That's really, really awesome and inspiring to hear that message too. But to start with, you may complete the homework. You may not have. It was challenging. Like we said, you have the playbook now. We just want to celebrate you for taking action, as big or as small as you have. It like Enzo just said in that message right there, it takes a mindset shift many times. It just being able to have that playbook to get out there, being able to know exactly what to do to at least start taking steps forward and start to build momentum. That is an absolute huge win. And our goal is to help you continue with that, to go do many deals beyond that. So Chad, can you maybe talk through, what you recommend in terms of where to go from here, and how they can even connect with you as well?
Well, hopefully most of you are on my newsletter. I want to give you a couple of recommendations, because when you get excited, you get focused, and you make some progress, it's easy for it to fall off. And so the big part of my mission, the reason I do Coach Carson, is to have an ongoing connection with you, to give you education, to give you inspiration. So I hope just for free, you're following with me on my newsletter. If you're not, you can go to coachcarson.com/newsletter. I'll put that in the chat here in a minute, or maybe somebody can help me out and put that in the chat. So first and foremost, that's a great way to stay in touch with me through the podcast as well. I've been on a little bit dormant status with teaching. This challenge is actually my kind of getting my feet back in the ring of teaching some more. And I'm going to be teaching later this year and this spring some more courses. And one of those in particular, I'm going to do a webinar on April 19th. It's going to be called Your Real Estate Investing Blueprint. And it's going to be about how I built a rental property business that allows me to work 2 hours per week and still have cash flow. And what's that business look like? How's it structured? What are all the systems put together? And so if you're interested in that, you can follow up with me. If you're on my newsletter, I'm going to put that in the chat as well. I have a link that you can be in the webinar with me. And that's going to lead to a course I'm teaching over it's going to be a lot like this challenge. It's going to be more rounded about the entire rental property business. How do you set up your systems for bookkeeping? How do you set up your systems for tenant screening? And over a 30-day period, we're going to day by day do different things throughout that challenge. So I hope you'll stay in touch with me on that and communicate. This is just the start. Finding deals is the most important skill, but obviously there's a lot of other things that you want to learn, a lot of other things you want to do. And I'm hoping you'll stay in touch with me and let Coach Carson and the podcast and the newsletter be a resource for you that you can then use to, buy deals, to manage them, to make cash flow. And I want to have some other people who can travel and have some financial independence and do what we've been able to do. And I feel really fortunate to be able to do that. But I want you to be able to benefit from it and get as much out of real estate investing as I had. So that's a long-winded way to say, can't wait to communicate with you some more this year.
Yeah, you have so many exciting things coming out this year, Chad. So make sure to connect there. He shared the webinar jam link in the chat there. If you want to put that in the stream as well on there, you go. Cool. I'll put that in the there you go in the comments for you too. So make sure to keep in touch that way. We have a lot of awesome stuff going on there. Also, secondly, and can you hear me okay? It looks like my camera went out, unfortunately. So to wrap this up here, make sure consider me a resource as well. Like, especially when you go land that first deal. Like, I mean, again, we've got hundreds of people that we've that had featured on our YouTube channel of people who've used Deal Machine to go land deals. So would love to be able to feature you too if you're up for that. You know, we always love to give shine to people, you know, on a local level too. Like people will use that and you repurpose it for, you know, all over their socials. So use me as a resource. You know, again, we'll email out this recording and this replay, but you have the playbook, you've got all the recordings moving forward, and you know, congrats on finishing these last 3 weeks and make this a platform to go do big things, like go become that small and mighty investor and keep you know, whatever your goal is, whether it be landing that first property or landing your first 100. Like, you've got the tools to go do it. You've got the playbook. You've got the knowledge. You know, Chad is an amazing resource. Make sure to connect with him. And, you know, happy deal finding.
I agree. Happy deal finding. And if you have any questions or follow up, feel free to let us know. You can email me at chad@coachcarson.com. And I know Matt's given his email out a couple times. I believe it's matt@dealmachine.com. Is that right, Matt?
Yep.
And
yeah, on this one there. Yeah.
Where if you have any follow-up questions about this program or about the challenge, we'd love to hear from you and love to hear any success stories or any challenges you're having along the way. So stay in touch, and thank you so much for being with us. Matt, great job. Enjoyed it as well.
Thanks, everybody. Keep in touch.
All right. Have a good day.